In this lesson, we're going to continue with transitions, taking you further up the fretboard and actually getting some really cool stuff going here. You're going to want to really get into this stuff and learn it. So let's just get started. Okay, basically what you're doing here is you're starting from the extended position, moving through the nested position and into the tied position. Okay, so we're going to start here on the octave G, from there, here, and we're in nest extended, so you're just going to play through that to here. This is your transition point up to nested. And then we're going to transition here 2 frets higher into tied. Okay, let's do that one more time. Starting extended, transition point to nested 2 frets higher, transition point 2 frets higher to tied. Then we just sit it tied. Okay, so what you're talking about is just like that. Okay, pause the video, practice this, and you know, if you're really feeling bold, go ahead and do it backwards. Something like that. All right, and then when you're ready, press play and let's keep going. Okay. Now we're going to get into a little more exciting stuff here. Okay, so we're going to move from the nested position at the 8th fret and move through tied, aligned, and into the root of the primary, the octave root of the primary. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start right here, and we're going to be with your first finger, and we're in the nested position. So we play through there to the 4th string right there. This is your transition point, 2 frets higher up into tied. Transition point again here on the 3rd string up to aligned. Transition point here up to the octave of the primary. Just like that. Okay, that's a lot, isn't it? Let's walk you through it again. Here you're in the nested, 8th fret, 6th string. Here is your transition point, 8th fret, 4th string, moving up to the 10th fret and the tied position. Quickly transition from tied into aligned, moving up 2 frets on the 3rd string from 10 to 12. Here, we're going to move from the aligned up to the octave of the primary and stay there for the rest of the lick. Okay, so here's what it'll sound like. Minus some of the string noise. Let's see if I can do that a little cleaner. just like that. I know, just like that. Yeah, easy for me to say. So, take your time here. Go slow. Walk through it carefully. Preserve your fingering. It's important. This is where technique and proper fingering really come into play. So pause the video. Work this one out. Take your time. No hurry. Then when you're ready, restart the video and we'll keep going. Okay. Now we're going to have some fun. So, we're going to be working from the tied position, right here, through nested, extended, and down to the primary. So we're working around 4 positions in a descending order. Okay? So you're going to start in tied with your little finger at 13. To the 4th string at the 10th fret, slide down 2 frets into nested. Oops. Okay. Not onto the 8th fret, but the 7th fret. So pay attention to fingering, which I didn't, honestly. And then back down, here's your transition point to extended. Very briefly, and back to primary. Okay, let's walk through that one more time. Even I didn't do that great. All right, 4th finger, 13th fret, 1st string in the tied position. Here's your first transition point on the 4th string. We're moving from tied down to nested. And we're going to sit on nested for a couple of seconds. Notice the 4th finger here to get to this. Now we're going to use this transition point down to the extended. And again, the transition point here down to primary. Okay, yeah. Let's see if I can do this without messing it up. All right. Yeah, even I get this wrong sometimes. There we go. And you'll notice I used the proper fingering that time, if you were paying attention. First time I played it, I screwed it up because I didn't use the right fingering. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That when you don't observe fingering conventions for transitions, even shifting of positions, like in the nested position right here, to make this work right, it matters. It shows, because when you're used to doing things a certain way and then you do them a different way, you mess it up. So the consistency is really critical here, okay? So I just showed you why correct fingering is important, and that's about technique. So, okay, pause the video, walk through this. This is not a simple lick. It's not difficult. It's just really involved, okay? Because you got, what, 3 shifts. Okay, then when you're ready to proceed, and make sure you get this smooth and flowing with a metronome, then unpause the video and keep going. Okay, well, there you go, yay. Now, yes, even I can screw up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually work from way up here. So I got to get the camera here. Oops. Let's get the right one zoomed out here. That way you can see the whole thing of what I'm doing here, okay? Okay, so this is the big dad because you're going 3 octaves, okay? So we're going to start with the octave of the primary with your little finger, right? Here's your transition down to the aligned. Another transition down into tied. Another transition into nested. Another transition down to extended. Okay? Let's walk through that again. I'll go a little bit slower. 18th fret here. Transition, 2nd string 15 down to 13. 4th finger here on the 3rd string at the 15th fret, so that you can make this transition on the 3rd string into the tied position correctly. And again, from the 10th to the 8th fret into the nested position, right? And again, from the nested into the extended position, a big leap there. So pay attention to your fingering here. This is a big deal, right? You want to play this right. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, I changed a little bit of the fingering. Sometimes there are things I do one way over another by standard practice, but that's how it's supposed to sound. Okay? Take your time with this stuff. There's no hurry, believe me. There is absolutely no hurry to get this done. Take your time. And if you want, play it up and back. Do that with any of these licks. Play them forward and backwards and really get it clear in your head. And then you'll be even better off for the process. It takes a little extra time, but it's well worth it. Time well spent, as they say. All right? Okay. When you're done practicing that, go ahead and restart the video, and we'll continue. Well, there you go. That is, in a nutshell, the transitions of the pentatonic minor scale, moving up and down the fretboard to get you well suited to playing in any given position and being able to transition from any given position to any other position, or even through positions as you've seen in the last 2 examples. And this is really critical. It helps you move up and down the fretboard quickly when you know where these transition points and you know how to execute them, because you've perfected your technique and your fingering. And as you saw with my big mistake there, I didn't use the correct fingering and I messed up the lick when I played it. So that is a critical factor, okay? And sometimes fingering will change based on other factors, but it has to make sense and it has to be logical. You know, basically you have to justify any changes in fingerings. Now your hand size is different than mine, and all fingering conventions that I use throughout any series on soloing or scale issues, they're all based in part on a typical average hand, which I have. But for the most part, the fingering conventions that I use are reasonable, no matter how big your hand is. So try to work them first. And if you have to modify, make sure that there's a justification for the modification. Maybe your fingers are too long or too short. Usually it's fingers too long where some of those adjustments have to be made. Too short fingers, actually the conventions I've given you are the best as they are. Okay, so I could ramble on a little bit. So just go over this. And if you want, go back and review Transitions Part 1 so that you are really clear on all of the transition points. Because in the next section, you're going to be playing melodies. And I tell you what, you're going to want to really have this stuff down. So before moving on, make sure you have all 5 positions committed to memory and fairly clear in your understanding of their order. That's why we've given them names: primary, extended, nested, tied, and aligned. Okay, this way you can put a mnemonic to them, kind of learn them through the names. And then the transition points. Make sure you understand the transition points. It wasn't exhaustive here, but you've learned most reasonable, typical transition points that you will encounter in most cases. All right? So there you go. Have fun with this. Remember, the number one thing is enjoy the process. Put on some backing tracks and run through these licks. They'll sound reasonably good, you know. Or if you got a looper, just play a G minor chord and play these licks, these runs over the top of it, and you'll get a sense of what it's supposed to sound like. Okay? So, when you're ready for the next section, we'll be waiting. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down there in the lower right-hand corner, or below the video, there's the big red subscribe button, and next to it's a gray notification bell. Press that, and you'll be notified when we have new content up here at Outsmart Your Guitar. Down below, also in the description area, you'll see a link where you can go and download the written material for this lesson as well. And below that, you'll see another link that will take you over to Outsmart Your Guitar on Patreon. Go on over, check that out. There's content there that's not available here. And subscribe at one of the 2 levels and become a patron. All right? Remember, here at Outsmart Your Guitar, we are dedicated to helping you learn, play, and grow to become the guitar player you desire to be, to play the music you want to play, even write your own music. All right? Thanks for your time. See you soon.